This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's go to our program keywords and explanation topic. Here in the popular post, you can find this Java program keywords and structure explanation. So we have the private static all done. Let's do now this void keyword. Here is the void. So what is mean by void? So void is one of the return type keyword. It will be applied only on method signature line. Only in method line you can use, nowhere else. This keyword is not applicable for other entities. Other entities means like for class, variable, constructor, this keyword is not applicable. Only for method, and that to method line only will use. That's a void keyword. So void is a return type keyword, and it will be applied only in method signature line. And if you declare void in the method signature line, what will happen? Then that method doesn't return any value for you. Doesn't return any value means wherever you are, basically methods are going to give some output. You're because you are doing some calculations, right? So many logical statement you are doing, the output it will return to us based on the calculations. Somewhere you might need the output. That output you want to use some other place. And if you want to use some other place, the output of the void methods is not possible. The void method doesn't return any value. That's a void keyword if used. Without void also we can create the methods. Till now we learned only with void. So today I'm going to explain we can create the methods without void also. Without void, if you create, and that type of methods will return the value to you. Where this is necessary without void methods, and where you can use void methods, so that clarity is very, very important. So your method doesn't want to return any value, just you want to execute all the statements whatever you are writing inside the method body, then use void. You don't want to return anything. Now main method, so they made it a void. Why they made it a void? Because all the statements whatever you are going to call under main method, we just need to execute. We don't want to return anything. Print statement is not a return type, remember this point. Print is just printing to the console, and it is printing but it is returning to you. It's not returning, it is printing to the console the values, the variable values, the results you can print to the your console, but that means you are returning that. No, it's not returning. So please understand that the concept. Printing is not a returning. Returning means, okay, you are creating a lot of methods in the class. One class has a void method, one class has a return type methods. The return type method you can call in another place and you can use that output of that method. That's a return type methods means. What is the return type methods means? The return type methods, you write some data and calculations. The final output is, right, it is going to get a final output after calculation. Maybe that output you want it somewhere, some other places, or maybe some other class, some other package class, you might need that data. If you want to use that data in other places, you must create a method without void, then only that data you can use in another place. Suppose, let me give you a simple example. In the web pages you have a dynamic data. In the web pages you have a dynamic data, like you have a table and it has a lot of records, and every time if you create a record, the count will increase. It's a dynamic value, right? Count increasing means a dynamic value, the count is increasing. And if you delete the record, the count will decrease. But the count is same, but it is changing, right? Every time based on the operation type, the count is changing. How can you get that dynamic data? What data is there? What is the count is there in currently in the table? How can you get that data? That kind of data, if you want to fetch, or you want to fetch a dynamic text from web page, dynamic count from web page, and you need to create a return type methods, not void methods. Return type methods means it returns the value for you. That's a return type methods. If you use void, it doesn't return any value, just executes all the lines of code inside the method body. That's a void means. Void is a return type method which it doesn't return any value when you call the method. It just executes all lines of code one by one. That's the void keyword. So let's see void method syntaxes. Already we know. Again, I'm giving one more time. Static method syntax with void. Yesterday we have discussed these points. Access modifier, static, void, method name, parenthesis, curly braces start, calculations plus logical statements. All you can do this, but this method doesn't return the value. Whatever the calculation you are going to get output, you can just print it, but you cannot return that value. Why? I have used void keyword. So this void keyword, just before the method name you will place that method name before the keyword, whatever the keyword is there, that keyword is called return type keyword. Now here void is there. So what is the return type keyword means? The keyword that is placed before method name is called return type keyword. Now here return type keyword is a void, void, void. So void, if you use, that method is not going to return any value, just nothing. It doesn't return any value to you. And that means this method just executes all the lines of code one by one line till the end of that method. That's it. And this is the static method syntax. What is a non-static or instance method syntax with void? So access modifier, void, method name, parenthesis, curly braces start, calculations plus logical statements, and curly braces end. So this is the non-static method syntax. What is the difference between this line and this line? Both are void only, right? What is the difference between this line?
Static.
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 So if there is a static keyword that is called static method in the method signature line, if you have a static keyword that is called static method. If you have a static keyword in the variable line, you will call that a static variable. Anywhere, this is the funda. Wherever you have a static keyword, if it is inside the in the method line, that is the static method. If the static keyword in the variable line, that is called static variable. If it is in the block, static block line, then you can call that a static block. And then if it is not there, that will be a non-static method and non-static variables. So these are the two types of methods we have: static methods, non-static methods. Non-static means static keyword should not be present. That's what here. So this also void keyword we use. That means this method is not going to return, just executes all lines of code. That's it. That's this static and non-static methods with void. Okay, what about without void? So what about without void? Let me show you. If you don't write the void in method signature line, then the method will return a value, the final output. After calculation, you will get some output, right? That output will return, so that output you can use some other places. You can call the method. When you call the method will give that output value. That is what the return type methods we call them. Void methods and return type methods. So the syntax of static method without void. So this is the one. Access modifier, static, data type, method name, parenthesis, curly braces, calculations plus logical statements you write in the body. In the body, last, before closing the curly braces, you will get a return keyword. You must write a return keyword. Return this output. So the output will store in some variable here, right? The output you can return here with a return keyword. You have to use a return keyword. What is the difference between above and this one? So method name before the return type keyword is a data type here. And also body inside you are getting a return keyword. But in this, you are not getting it, you are not writing the return keyword. You're using a void keyword here. But here, the method name before data type is the return type. So what is meant by why you need to write a data type here? What type of data this method is returning to you? That data type you have to write. Is integer, float, long, boolean, character, string, a class, interface, what type of data it is returning. So that data type you need to write there. So telling that, okay, this method, after execution of this entire method, and this method is going to return this data type value for you. That's the meaning of that. So that, and this value, how you will get, call the method name wherever you want this value, and this method will get the value for there. It will get the value for us wherever you want to call. And that's the return type methods, very powerful and very useful. You want to get a dynamic data from web pages, we need to write a return type methods, not void methods. Remember these things. Okay, this is a very, very important. Right? Any questions here? Static method without void, this is the syntax. You need to remember all these syntaxes. Okay, and then non-static method syntax without void.
Ramesh, when you say return value, so the value I'm not able to understand here. So the result will already is in the value, and the method will already return the value here. The value thing.
So you are going to store this output, right? You are doing some calculation, okay? Some multiplication or something.
Yeah.
That value, that output you will store in some local variable. Okay.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
Or a global variable, whatever the variable, some variable you have to use to store the data.
Okay.
Okay. That variable you can write it here.
Oh, that variable. Okay. I thought the value is also a keyword. No, okay. Just the return is the keyword.
That variable. Maybe I'll change it, the variable.
Yeah. That's
so value means what I mean the value is which variable contains the value, that variable name you need to write there. Okay. The variable name you need to write.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, otherwise directly this calculation itself you can write here, return the entire calculation you can write. You don't want multiple lines, you can write the entire calculation there itself.
Okay.
In the return line itself. Yeah. Okay, like you want to return a Boolean value, you can return a Boolean value. So for example, a greater than b I'm doing, I can write directly here a greater than b, and my data type here is Boolean. Okay, so like that. So what type of data the method is returning to you, the data type must be placed just before the method name. That is the data type. So data types I'm going to explain in the next class. And is it clear, Venkat, to other people?
Sir, why we not use the non-static word in non-static?
We can use non-static. I'm explaining. Yesterday I explained, right? Why you need to use a static method and non-static method. So I told you static, why you cannot use. Why you need to use a static, even yesterday. I'm giving here non-static also. So you can create a methods, any kind of method, either static or non-static, whichever you want. I'm giving both the syntaxes. You have to take a decision as a programmer. You are the programmer. You know
Okay.
when to use static keyword. I told you when to use static keyword. If there is a common thing, many, and you can use a static keyword. You decide
Okay.
that, right? Which is common, you have to decide that.
Okay.
Use static keyword, and then you want to return, just put here static. That's what I have given, static method syntax without void, and this is the structure. And same, I can create a non-static method also. I want a dynamic data I want to get in the runtime. I can use this non-static method, access modifier, data type, method name, parenthesis, curly braces start, all calculations and logic, and return the value. That means variable. You can write the variable or expression here. Whatever you want to write, you can write in the written line. Then close the curly braces. So that this method is going to return this type of data for me. So that I can call this method name, I can get this output wherever I want. That is the return type methods. You can create a void methods, both static and non-static. You can create a return type methods, both static and non-static. Not necessary you have to create only one type of method. Okay. Any questions?
So Ramesh, can we pass the different type of arguments in the method name?
Yes, yes. So here I didn't give arguments, but you can pass arguments also in the parentheses.
It should be same as the data type that what we
Same.
declare, or it
Yeah.
can be a different way data type.
Same.
It has to be
Data
same.
type. Yeah, data type, parameter name. So I didn't give that syntax, but we are going to give that syntaxes in the methods topic. Okay, methods topic in detail I'm going to explain one more time. So methods is a separate topic. That's it will take almost 4 or 5 days only methods topic. Okay, so
Okay.
that again these syntaxes I will use there, but initially I'm giving all the syntax so that you can be familiar by that time methods topic comes. And that's why if you put some hard work, then methods topic will be very easy for you. Okay, so void is done. Are you all clear on void? What is mean by void? Swati, why you need to use void? Why we won't use?
వాయిడ్ కి ఎలాంటి వాల్యూ ఉండదు కాబట్టి అది రిటర్న్ వాల్యూలో ఏం చూపించదు కదా when you are taking that void.
Yeah, so that means the not void, so method is not going to return for you. If you use void keyword, method is not going to return to you any value. That's a void. So okay, somehow you understand that. Good. And then, so any other having questions on this void?
రమేష్,
Yeah,
దీన్ని ప్రైవేట్ లో ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ప్రైవేట్ అనేది ఎలాగో దాన్ని ఒకటే దానికి క్లాస్ కి డిఫరెంట్ క్లాస్ లోపల చూపిస్తుంది అన్నప్పుడు మీరు ప్రైవేట్ లో void అనేది తీసుకుంటున్నారు.
You should not use private for the method return type methods.
Okay.
Permission you won't have, right? You should
Yeah.
not use. You should not use a private keyword for the return type methods, because you cannot use in another classes. But if you want to use in the same class, you can use private. Same class also you can do, right? Return type methods. But I want to use in the same class, I can use a private keyword also for the return type, right? I want that return type method in the same class, and another method I want to call. I'll create a two methods, madam. One method with the private return type, the data type, and method name. Maybe I can use in another method. Method 2 I can use, right? Same class. That is possible. But other place you cannot call, because private is going to stop permission for this method. Private you can use, but in the same class you can use. somebody wants in the same class only, don't want to give for other classes, they can use this. And we have in the automation such kind of things. And return type methods I'll create for that only, for that class only. In that class only, in another method I will call that private return type method. We have done that so many things in the automation, such kind of things with the private keyword. But other classes you cannot call that method. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, Ramesh.
That I'm giving access modifier. Access modifier means you have to remember only 4 keywords: public, default, private, protected. That's it. Other keywords should not come in your mind in case of access modifier means. That's why I'm giving a generic word I'm using. It's up to you which modifier keyword you want to use, which access modifier keyword you want to use. Okay, let's move on next. Main method. So main is a built-in method already created by Java. We haven't created this main method. Java created and given to us. The method name is a main. Method name is main. The program execution begins from this line onwards only. Whatever you write inside the main method, only those statements will be executed for us. Even you write n number of methods on top of main method and below the class, if you are not calling under main method, it's not going to execute for us. Okay, you have given main method purpose, and then what is the method naming conventions? How we need to write the method names? We know class naming conventions, right? How to write the class names. But what about method names? We should know how to write the method names. The method names is, if a method name contains one word, all letters should be in lowercase. See that example is main only, one word only, right? That's why all in lowercase. All letters are in lowercase only, that one. Second example, click method. See, all one word, all letters are in lowercase only. Type method, one word, all letters are in lowercase only. So this is the first rule how to create the methods. If the method name has one word, how to write? All letters should be in lowercase. Okay, rule 2. Suppose your method name has more than one word, then how will you write? So first word, all letters should be in lowercase. From second word onwards, each word first letter should be in uppercase, and don't provide spaces between words. So what is that? How will you write? If method name has more than one word, each first word, all letters you write in lowercase. From second word onwards, each word first letter, it should be in uppercase, and don't provide spaces between words. That's a rule 2. If your method name is more than one word. And this is the examples. Protected static void, click and wait. How many words are here? 3 words. Click is the one. See, first word, all are lowercase. Second word onwards, that means second word is and, A capital. Third word, W capital, first letter only in capital, and no spaces between the words. This is the how to write methods with a different words. And also the method name must be followed by parenthesis. That's an indication of a method. A method name must be followed by parenthesis. What we call this round brackets? Parenthesis. And then the body, method body will start. When you are defining the method, the parenthesis will come, then followed by a curly braces or flower braces. Every method should start with a flower braces, should end with a flower braces. This is the method how you will write. Method naming conventions. Any questions on this? method name must be a verb because it represents the action, because you're doing some action, the behavior you will write inside the method. Basically behavior you will write, the logical part you will write, the calculation part you will write inside the method body. And use lower camel case for naming the methods. This is the example. See that set first name followed by parenthesis. See, first set is the one word, right? First word all lowercase. Second word F capital, N capital. Set first name. Get first word all lowercase. First name, get first name. So F capital and N capital. Get last name followed by parenthesis. This is how to write the method names. So I hope you are clear on the method naming conventions. I have given the class naming conventions. I have given now method naming conventions. Wherever you are writing the method, just follow these rules. Remember the rules. If you read only, you can remember the rules, right? Otherwise, we cannot remember. If you're not reading them, you're not remembering them, while creating the method, you will make mistakes. That's why theory is a very, very important. Theory followed by implementation. If you know the theory, you can implement easily, right? Suppose you are creating a method with more than one word. Immediately apply this rule. Immediately apply this rule. What it is saying, first word, all letters should be in lowercase. So that when you're writing more than one word, make sure you need to remember this point, so that you won't make mistakes there. Right? That's why theory is a very crucial for the right path you want to go in the coding. Each theory followed by practice. That practice will come only with the theory. That's why I'm asking read multiple times. Okay. Then, so what is this parenthesis? Where and all you can use this parenthesis, right? The parenthesis can be used first place after the method name, right? After the method name, you can use parenthesis. And what is the second place? You can create object for a class and you can use that. Basically, the constructor. You can use constructor name after. Say this is the constructor. You're calling in the object line. Class name, reference of object equal to new class name parenthesis. So the object creation line you're using a parenthesis. Basically, that is a constructor. This part is called constructor. Class name parenthesis is called a constructor, default constructor, because no arguments here passing, right? That's why it is a default constructor. We have two type of constructors. One is default constructor, another one is a parameterized constructor. Default constructor, if you create in the class, and you can call in this object line itself. If you don't create also, by default, every class has one built-in default constructor. Automatically compiler will create one default constructor for every class. Even though if you are not creating, there will be a default constructor for every class. Whatever the class you are creating, immediately default constructor will be created. If you are creating explicitly, it will override that. But if you are not creating, it will be there one default constructor for every class. So that's what you are calling here. So the parenthesis you're using in this object line, object creation line. This is the object creation line. So how to create object, we'll discuss later. With a new keyword, you need to create object. And this object address is going to store in this variable. And this is the reference variable we call this. Why reference variable? It is pointing to this object. So this object address will store in this reference variable. What the reference variable contains? The address of the object it contains. I'll discuss in detail this one in the next classes. So as of now, understand where you can use parenthesis. This topic is parenthesis where you can use. One is method name after. Second one is in the object creation line. And third one is control structure keywords. If parenthesis, while parenthesis, for parenthesis, switch parenthesis. And then that's all these places you will use parenthesis. And fourth one, a typecasting place. So you want to typecast. So typecasting, when we can do, and this next topic it is going to come. And typecasting we need to do if the left hand side, right hand side is not same. The data is not same. Data type is not same. Both sides. You will get a type mismatch error. To avoid that type mismatch error, we are going to do typecasting. So typecasting means the right side variable data you are converting into left side format. And that what you will do, right side variable before, you will write parenthesis inside the left side data type you will write. So that automatically right side data also will convert into left side format. That is called typecasting. The conversion of one type of data into another format is called typecasting. That's a pure definition. Okay, so that I will explain again. And this typecasting place also you will use parentheses. So where and all you can use parentheses, I'm just giving this. So just catch those pointers. Any questions here? Now we're coming almost close to ending of this program end. So I'm explaining this main method, right? All this main method. First we have seen class. What is meant by class keyword, how to write the class name we have seen, and class inside what are the members are there I have explained. Then I have seen public keyword, static keyword we have seen, void keyword we have seen, main method we have seen. But what is this? String square bracket args means what? String square bracket args means, so these are the command line arguments for the main method. So these are command line arguments. It accepts many values. String square bracket means it's an array category, array type. Square brackets represent always array. So you can give many values. That's the meaning of square brackets. String type arguments you can pass. So these are the three different type of arguments you can pass to the main method. One is string square bracket args. This is the first format. Otherwise you can pass this also, r. That's why r I'm putting. String args square bracket. They just shift the square bracket to args. That is also valid arguments for the main method. And third one, string dot 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 c. 3 dots you put. 3 dots you put after string. This is also valid arguments for the main method. Let me show you this. All three types of arguments you pass and you can run the program, right? All three types of arguments you can pass and you can run. So go to our project. This is our project. Expand our project and expand SRC, expand basic programs package. You take any one method, okay? Any one class, right? So I just need to pass my main method with the different categories. So this is the default we have seen already, right? This is the default. So I'll comment out this line and I'll put second argument I'll pass. So what is the second argument? Just remove this square bracket and put it for the args. This is the second type of arguments you can pass for the main method. This is also another valid arguments for the main method. See, your code will execute. I'm just giving a different type of arguments what you can pass. Let's execute the program.
So
See
Ramesh,
that?
either way, these three formats are default. We cannot anyway pass our own arguments or own data types there, right?
Exactly, you're right. You cannot pass your own, but these are the three types of arguments you can pass for the main method. So that's how the output is executed. This is the second way. And third way, let me show you third way also. So I'm just doing a single line comment. How to do single line comment? Double forward slash before that line. So that is a single line comment. So now what we need to do? Just remove this. So string dot dot dot, 3 dots. C. Just put a C. This is also third valid type of arguments. Anyone you can pass, no issues. But basically we'll use first one only, always. But I'm giving other type of arguments also you can pass. These are the valid ones. So because this is a multiple choice question, in the interviews they will give you what are the different type of arguments you can pass for the main method. The interview question, that's why I'm giving these pointers here. Okay, next. So method body. Method body means the curly braces reason is called method body. The curly braces reason. This is the one from here to here. This is called method body. This entire thing is called till here. This is called method body. Method body inside what you can write. So please catch these points. So basically inside the method body should be written logic plus statements. But method body inside we can write below things. I'm giving very clearly here. So any method inside, not only static, any method inside, these rules are applicable. First you can write the calculations. Method calls are method invocations. What is method invocations? Calling one method in another method. That's a method invocation, right? This one. See, right, we did a method invocation. This is a method invocation, right? Another class method we called here. Another class method we called here. This is the method invocation. Or same class method you can call. Okay. Suppose you want to call this method, only we have only one method. Let's go to other methods. We have many methods, right? Yeah. See that this is the method invocation. Same class method you can call. This is the method invocation. Method invocation you can do, or method calls you can do, and print related statements you can do. You can write the calculations. The calculations also you can do. You can do print statements you can do inside the method body. So these are all the things you can do inside the method body. So what are all the things you can do? Print related statements you can write. Calculations you can write. Method calls you can do. Object creation you can do. So what are all these? Object creation also, one more point here. Object creation also you can do inside the method body. So this is all things you can do inside the method body. Is it clear? You'll come to know next sessions what are all the things. But these are all the fundamentals of your program structure I'm giving here. That's why we're taking almost 7 days to explain this program structure itself. And this is the base for your next level. If you understand all these keywords, and it's going to be very, very easy next level. And if you're not understanding all these keywords and the rules, and you cannot create the programs, and you'll make mistakes. That's why read one time, it won't come, Andy. Read multiple times. Every day you read. And yesterday I read, why I need to read one more time? Don't do that. That's where a mistake will happen. Even though if you know also, one more time you look into that statement, you can remember easily. And if you're not looking into that, automatically it will ignore you. That statement will ignore you. That means you are ignoring, that also will ignore you. So keep these points in mind. Read every day. This 1 week you read it, entire flow from modifiers to till end of this entire these notes, and really helps you a lot for you. Okay, the next is last statement for this program structure. Yeah, any questions?
Method invocation, can you repeat once again, Ramesh?
Method invocation means calling the method, madam. This method you're calling under another method for execution. You need that method. For example, I can call this M1 in this M2 method. Suppose I want to call in M2 method, I can call. This is called method invocation or method call. We call this. What do we call this? Method invocation or method call.
రమేష్
You're calling that method here.
మీరు సేమ్ క్లాస్ లో దాన్ని పిలుస్తున్నారా లేదు అంటే వేరే క్లాస్ లో కూడా
M1, where is M1, madam? Where is M1?
ఇన్ దిస్ వన్ మీరు చూపిస్తున్న
class, right? M1 in the same class, right? Even in the same class one you can call, other class method also you can call. Method invocation means not only same class, other class methods also you can call. Other class methods also you can call. Same class methods you can call, other class methods also you can call. That's a method invocation means, not only same class. Are you clear now?
అండ్ వన్ మోర్ రమేష్ అక్కడ మీరు ఇంతకు ముందు స్ట్రింగ్ డాట్ డాట్ సి అని ఇచ్చారు కదా వాట్ ఈస్ సి మీన్స్
C is a arguments. It's just a arguments, commands. Just a commands, arguments type, right? This is arguments. You can pass for this main method these 3 types of arguments. We call this entire thing arguments. Okay, so dot dot C is this a optional arguments you can pass. Multiple optional argument you can pass. That's the meaning of that. Okay, see that I called another class methods here. The method invocation means not only this class methods, another class methods I can call here. Is it clear now? This is another class method, M1. Another class method, this protected demo class method I am calling in my first Eclipse program class. I can do that. That's another method invocation. So that formula I have given here, class name dot static method. Just simple method, as simple as, so parents are there, kids are there. So this kid belongs to which parent? How do you know? How can you tell that? Okay, so and so X parent, kid is Y. How can you tell that? That's what I'm calling that class name dot that child. That this class child is M1 method. I'm calling in another class. I'm representing in another place with a class name dot that child of that method, that class. So this protected demo class member I'm calling. The M1 is a member of protected demo. So not here. M1 is not here. I'm calling from another class. So another class method you can call in this process. This is the formula. Class name dot static method. But it's the same class. You don't need to refer class name. You don't need to refer class name. See, I didn't refer the class name. I'm directly calling here. So I'm directly calling here. You can call the same method in multiple methods. Not necessarily in the same place. One time only you need to call. It's based on your necessity, based on your requirement. You need this M1 method in the M2 method, and also in the main method also you want. You can call anywhere. Method once you create, you can call anywhere n number of times. Method is just a reusable purpose you created, and you don't need to write this logic again and again. That's why you are calling that method to execute multiple places. That's why you are calling the method. You are calling the method here and there. Anywhere you can call the method inside another methods. Another methods only you can call. Okay, not other places. You can call the method in another methods. Is clear?
Yes,
now
Mr.
Last statement is system.out.println and system.out.print. 2 system.out.println, system.out.print. These are the print statements in Java. Anything you want to print to the console, you can use these print statements. And what is this? Is another interview question. Can you explain what is system, what is dot, what is out, what is println, what is print method? Very clearly you should understand these keywords. That's why I'm worried about each and every keyword I'm giving here. If you are clear with each and every keyword, you can tell anybody, I'm good with these programs. So what is system? System is a built-in class in Java. It is available in java.lang package. This is a built-in package, right? I have given in the beginning. Built-in package, this one. Already with the Java, you will get this package. This package inside, they created a system class. Again, class means you think, what will be there inside the class? What will be there inside the class? Swati, I'm asking you, what will be there inside the class? Any class, it can be any class.
System.out.println.
Class inside, what are the members, madam?
Method. Oh, okay. Class objects.
Objects are. Sirisha, what will be there inside the class?
Variables class.
Variables.
Variables int.
Reddy Prasad, what will be there inside the class? What are the members of a class?
A class structure consists of variables, methods, constructors, and blocks.
That's it, madam. Why are you struggling? I don't understand. A class can contain any class. It doesn't matter which class. A class may contain variables, one section, methods, another section, constructors, blocks. These are the members of a class, madam. That's what I'm asking. What the class contains? Class contains variables, methods, constructors, blocks. This is the first day class structure. Given this is the where you need to focus on the class structure and how we'll write the class. And okay, now system is one of the class inside the package java.lang package. Which package this system class is available? Java.lang package already created by Java. Now you understand what is system class. Now dot operator. Why you will use this dot operator? Dot operator is used to access the field or method of that class. Any method or variable you want to call of that class, you will use dot operator. This is what I use a dot here. Can you see here? This class M1 method I am calling in another class. So what I used? Dot. Class name dot static method. Class name dot static variable. Class name dot static variable. So this is all the formulas. Class name dot static variable. Here also see that class name dot static variable. So the dot operator is used to access the class members. What is the purpose of dot operator? The dot operator is used to access the field or member of that class or method of that class. Is it clear? Dot operator purpose. That's why you're calling system dot. System is in the java.lang package. You are calling in your package. This is your package. Your package you are calling. How is it possible? That's why class name dot out variable. Out is a static final variable in the system class. So that point is coming here. So what is a out? Out is a static final variable in the system class. In the system class, this out is a variable, one of the variable. What type of variable? Static final variable. But the data type of this out variable is print stream class. The data type of out variable is a print stream class. You want to output some data, you need to call this out variable. How can you call out variable? This is available in the system class. So that's why this is the member of this system class. So I need to call this out. I need to use a dot operator. First system dot out. Class name dot the variable of this system. That is system dot out. System dot out means it outputs the any value to the system console. And then there is a one more variable, in variable, system dot in. See, another variable, in is another variable. It takes the data from keyboard. What the system dot in will do? You want to give input to your program, you need to use system dot in. System dot out, what is doing? It outputting the data. System dot in will take the data from keyboard. That's a system dot in. Why I'm using dot here? And this is the class, and that class member I am calling. The in is one of the final static variable which is used to take the data from keyboard, I want to use system.in. I want to throw an error, so I can use err variable from the system class. So these are the three variables declared in the system class. Already predefined these. I'm using now. I'm calling them. That's why class name dot that variable. Any static variables you want to call in another places. What is the formula? Class name dot static variable. If you want to call one class static method in another class, what is the formula? Class name dot static method. So that's what I have shown you already for you. So this is the other class, protected demo class static method. I'm calling inside my first Eclipse program class. How I am calling? See that formula, class name dot static method. So if you want very detailedly, let me give you here. See that the class name is protected demo. See that as per formula I'm doing protected demo class dot the static method. The static method is M1. This M1 is not here. M1 is not in this my first program, my first Eclipse program class. This M1 method is not there. I am calling this M1 method from another class. How can I call in another class method here? By class name dot static method. How can you class another class static variable? Class name dot static variable. I'm giving here itself the formulas once again. So many times I'm repeating this. How can you call one class static variable or static method in another class? Class name dot static variable. That's what, see that protected demo dot f. F is the static variable in this class. You're telling clearly, just understand the parent-child relationship. And you want somebody is asking, who is this child? You will tell, right, this parent-child is this. Same here also. Very good example, that one. You're telling this class, this F, okay, which class member is this? That you're telling. This protected demo class member. And this M1 also. Protected demo class member. That's a very simple. And just relationships, if you know, and you're clearly telling here, okay, M1 is coming from where? From which class? That this class member is M1. Directly cannot call that, right? And it's not orphaned. So you have a put it that class name dot that member. This is only static thing you can call like this. Okay, so that's a in, out, and ERR. Any questions are on dot variable. Now system class has so many methods. You can call so many methods. System dot exit. This is also another static method. So you can call, you want to exit entire program, and you will call exit method. You have time in milliseconds. You just put system dot, so many methods you will get. Let's see. System dot, this is already predefined class. They created so many methods. You can see that. See that all these are members. ERR, SF means static final variable. This is inside the system class. In, out, these three are the variables in the system class. Then see another method. This is the method. Array copy, clear property, console, system.console also you can use. Current time in milliseconds. You want to know system time, you can use current time millis. Exit, you want to exit the entire code, you can use system.gc. So garbage collector, you want to use this, you can use this. So all these methods are under system class they created. All are static methods. See system.get env, you want to get the environment variables, you can use get env method. And get properties, get property. So lot of methods they created, and you can use all these methods. So you don't need to create ready-made methods. And these all static methods. See that yes represent the static methods already created. Where these methods are, which class? See, it is clearly giving system class. It's clearly giving system class. This method is there. And see, this is the void method. This is the void method. And see, run finalization void method. But nano time is returning a long type of data. This is a return type method. You can see very clearly which is void method, which is return type method. So there is a void. This method is a void, and set out void. So void method, and this method is set property is returning a string type data. So these are all the methods how you can call. Okay. Any questions here about system class? System is a built-in class in Java. It is available in java.lang package. We have 3 variables in the system class: out variable, in variable, ERR variable. Out is a static final variable which returns print stream data type, and system.out is used to output the data. System.in is used to input the data to your program. You want to input, you want to give a data to your program, you can use system.in. And you want to throw an error, system.err you call. You want to exit entire program, and you call exit method of system class. See this, is it following the class name dot static method or not? It's following, right? It's following. You can call anywhere with this. You are telling exit method inside the system class. Okay, next one. What is println in the system.out.println, right? This println. What is meant by println? So println is a method in the print stream class which is used to print the value inside the parentheses. Whatever you are giving inside the parentheses, within double quotes or without double quotes, whatever you are giving, you can print string format, you can print number format, you can print Boolean format, you can print float format, you can print character, anything you can print with this println method. All formats are there. You take that formats and you can print them. And ln means new line. After printing this value, the cursor will move to next line. That's a println. It prints the value, whatever is there in the parenthesis. Immediately, cursor will go to next line, not in the same line. The print method is, it prints the, this is also another method in the print stream class only. Same class, these 2 methods are there. Same class, these 2 methods are already created, and the prints the value inside the parenthesis, and cursor will stay at the end of the line. Same line cursor will stay. It won't go to next line. So next line it will print on the same line, the above line. That's how the print and println will work. That's all about basics of a program keywords and structures. Any questions before stopping?